starting to rain. Can you hear that? Hey, we've had weeks of fine weather. I come in the greenhouse to do this and I'm going to have to shout at you because it sounds like I'm in a tin can and somebody's banging on. Hello all and welcome to Wayne's Allotment. Hope you're all doing well, keeping safe. Hope you're able to get out into your gardens and get on your allotments and get things done. It is a busy time of year after all for getting things put out. As for me, well, you've just seen that clip there with regards to the weather that as we say it rain stop play, shall we say, but I do eventually get the tomatoes done, so you see that. And this greenhouse, I have a bit of a sort out. I do a lot of filming in here and there's one or two things that I want to get sorted because it is a bit organised bedlam in here at times, but you actually see that for yourselves. And you see what I've got sorted. And dahlias. I'm getting pot on or make some cuttings. Do some dahlia cuttings. So we've got that for you as well. And there's other things, as is always the case with me. So without further ado, let's crack on. Thanks a lot. I'm going to have a go at doing some dahlia cuttings. I'm getting really adventurous. Not only now, I've started growing some dahlias from seed this year, and I've got some tubers that seem to be, touch wood, seem to be doing okay. But I've got a plant. This really is what spurred it all on. There you go. Dahlia, Tahiti Sunrise. It was, I've shown you this before, but it was reduced to £4. Should have been something like, I don't know, they were about £8 or something like that, but it had been reduced. But it was, it had a bad life. Let's put it that way. It needed a bit of TLC. And it was bashed about, and obviously that's why the price it was at. But as you can see, all that I did with this at the end of last year was cut off. Can you see where? You might not, but you can see where I've cut the growth off once it had started to die back. The pot, there was extra compost put in the pot just to cover the crown. I didn't really know whether I was doing right or wrong or what, I don't know, but I just put a little bit of extra compost in to cover the crown. It went into the corner of the greenhouse here, and that was it. It was left. And earlier this year I started watering it. I cleared away some of the compost that was over the top and started watering it, and it's coming on. It's doing nice. But what spurred me on to doing cuttings, that Monty Don chap, he's brilliant. I was watching Gardener's World and he was doing dahlia cuttings, and I thought to myself, because I do like this, I mean, you know, just look at that for a flower. I mean, that's lovely. And last year, although there weren't many flowers that did come on this, they really were nice. And I thought to myself, well, let's have a go at doing some dahlia cuttings. So without further ado, we'll crack on and get the job done. Right, I've got myself a pot, 4-inch square pot. I've mixed up here a bit of clover compost, bit of sharp sand, and put in some of my perlite. So we'll get some of that in. It's moist. It's not soaking wet. So the next job, no, I'm not about to perform open heart surgery, but I thought I do want a good sharp knife, and the wife's quite keen on craft and such like. So at the moment I've got hold of this, but she doesn't know, so quiet, nobody tell her, hey. So let's have a look. There we go, there's one. And I'm going to take off a lot of these leaves as per Monty Don. We'll just tidy that up. In fact, I'm going to cut that below there and push that into the corner of that pot. Let's have a look for another one. There we go, another one. Again, we'll take off some of those leaves, cut some of these back. I believe this cutting those back doesn't stress it so much, or doesn't put that under too much pressure. I'd like to try and find another couple if I can. There's another one, I think, there. Ah, now then, that's interesting. Look at that, that's got a little bit of root coming from it. Oh, brilliant. So I'll take these, I'll still take these bottom. Now I didn't know dahlias did that. I'm tell you everybody, I'm on a learning curve here. For me it's quite a curve. Oh, that's fantastic. So we'll have a look for one more. I only want something fairly small. Let's have a look at What about that one there? That might be... I don't know whether I'm cutting into it or not. Oh yes, there we go. There's another one. We'll take those two leaves off there. Push that into there. Give that, I've got a label where I've done, I put today's date on it, so I'll push that in there. I'll put that outside now, give that a good watering, and I'll keep you posted as to how they go. Yeah, so we'll see how we get on with regards to extra dahlias. Brilliant. So while we're on with the dahlias and dahlia cuttings, what I was trying to get at, refer to, when I was saying about with not stressing them, taking the leaves off, and also, as can be seen, see where I've cut those leaves down. The idea of that is it puts these cuttings under less strain and stress, so that they can get on with the job of producing roots. That's what I was trying to get at, and that's why you cut all the lower leaves off, and any large leaves you cut down, so that the actual cutting can get on with the job of trying to grow by producing its own roots. Simple as that. So that's it. That's some dahlia cuttings done. Right, you join me in the greenhouse, and I'm going to do another tub of sweet candle carrots. These are that's the carrots. I've got, well, I'll explain to you as I go along exactly what I'm doing. Right, what you're looking at there is one of my potato buckets from last year. Obviously the potatoes have come out of it, the compost has gone back in, but what I've also done with it is, if you look, see how fine, nice, sieved, couple of inches or so of nicely sieved compost over the top. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to sow carrots direct into that, but before I do any sowing, I'm going to water it, because as that is at the moment, that will just, as soon as I start making some seed drills, everything will, well, the compost will just fall into itself. So I'm going to give this good watering, so that once I make a seed drill, it stays put, basically. I'll show you, this process is exactly the same way as I did the very first of my buckets. So I think that is now suitably watered, so we'll put that down there. Now then, I'm going to be using cane, just use a straight bit of cane, and from handle to handle just go across making some small drills. It's not very, I know it doesn't look very good and it looks very bitty, but I can assure you it works. And then across again. You can probably hear that it is raining out. It's the date is the 28th of April, and I thought it's about time I did some more of these carrots. So we've got that in there. What I'm now going to do is where these cross, I'm going to put 2 or 3 seeds into each one. Once I've got the packet open, it's always the way, isn't it? You're trying to do something like this, and there we go. I've got the, and I'll just drop 2 or 3 seeds. It's exactly as I did before. As I say, I did this last time I did the bucket. Exactly the same approach. I know it looks very messy, doesn't look very professional at all, but guess what? I'm not a professional. You know, I do things that I think work, and that's it. I'm just showing you my approach to this job, to how I do this. You don't have to follow me, of course. There is other people about that are a lot more switched on to all of this. There we go. I think we've got every single station as such filled there. So then just close it all down, making sure everything is covered up. If they're not all covered through me doing this, I'll just go over it again with a bit more compost and then give it another watering. It's, you know, it's not rocket science, it won't hurt. But this is exactly the same approach as I did with my first bucket, and it seemed to work. So we're giving it the same, giving it a go again. There we go, nothing wrong with that. Look at that. Hey, that's as my dad used to say, a blind man on a galloping horse would like to see that. And then, not forgetting, of course, the good old label. Get and put the label in, anywhere will do. That will now go outside, because I see no reason now to leave it in the greenhouse. And I'm now going to do exactly the same with one for parsnips, but I'm going to have a slightly different approach with that. Right, you've just seen what I've done with the carrots, and I'm now going to do same sort of thing but with parsnips. And the reason I'm doing this is just really to show people what you can do in your back garden. You've got tubs like this, or even something like a bucket, large plant pot. All as I've done is I'm using the compost that was in there from last year, and I've sieved fresh compost onto the top, just a couple of inches over the top, and I'm going to sow the seed direct into that. And it's just, again, it's just a little bit of something different, a little bit of fun. Be interesting to see how this actually works, if at all it works. We know how notorious parsnips can be. One of the things that I've heard people say about with parsnips is they reckon that they don't germinate that well because of the oils on your skin. Well, I've just rubbed my hands in, as you can see how dirty they are, I've just rubbed my hands in the compost, and there's definitely no oils that I can feel on there. So let's get and do these parsnips, but this will be a little bit different. What I'm going to do with regards parsnips, I'm going to use a little pot, and all I'm going to do is into the middle. Now I've not watered this compost, so that'll go into the middle of there, the middle of that, middle of that. Then we'll go, this is a bit of a it's a bit of a lottery. Maybe that's not the best way of doing it. I tell you what, we'll leave that one in the middle, but I think what we'll do, we'll go to one side, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, we'll go 9, and then forgetting that one, we can now go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 12 places for seed. Now what I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to dib a little hole, bearing in mind I have not watered this compost before I've done this. I watered the other with the carrot because the seed is quite small, and obviously with parsnips the seed is that little bit bigger. So we'll see, and we'll look at just dropping seeds, maybe spacing them out actually. I think this might be the better approach rather than dibbing one little hole. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And there we have it, all parsnips sown, watered, and don't forget again, put a label in. Right, at the moment I've got one tomato plant left to put in. I have got, as you can see, an empty bucket there, and I've got another empty bucket down by the door. They are for my cucumbers, but my cucumbers aren't ready yet. I've got about 4 varieties of cucumber that I'm going to try this year. They're not ready to go in, so we're not bothering with those. So I'll show you how I'm going about preparing the buckets and planting my tomatoes. Compost I'm using is B&Q's Verve. I've used it, oh, I can't remember how many years, a long time, put it that way, and I've never had a problem with it. So all that I'm doing is basically half filling the bucket. Put a little bit more in. Now then, to that I'm adding some fish blood and bone. And good old chicken pellets, good couple of handfuls into that. Give that a good mix in. Once I've put the tomato plant in, the compost that will then go round the tomato plant will just be, shall we say, barren compost, just be plain compost. For watering, normal pop bottle with a hole drilled in the bottom. That will go in there. The tomato plant, which has been in root trainer, you can see that is going in. That'll be about right depth wise. So we now start to fill this. I'm not adding, as I say, I'm not going to be adding any more nutrients to the compost. They're all now below the roots. With this watering, with my pop bottle watering system, that will put all goodness through. We should all now obviously go through the roots with having it all below the root structure. We should, once I start watering, the plant should then not only take on water but also take on nutrients. I'll just push that down, make sure that's nicely down. Don't know whether you can hear that. It's now starting to rain. We've had I don't know how many weeks of nice weather, glorious sunshine. The day I decide to sort this or finish this side of the greenhouse out, it starts raining. There we go. I'll put a cane in, although that is quite reasonable at the moment, standing quite well on its own. I will place a cane in. You'll notice I've not put a cane in the other two here. I'll spin you around and give you a run round on these, but that's it basically with regards to my tomatoes. That variety is a Bacardi. I've got, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll spin you around and I'll give you a run through of the tomatoes that I've done so far. Okay, so I've now finished the planting up of the tomatoes on this side. As I've said just previously, these here had been done before. I'll run through and let you know what it is that I've actually put in. So I've got, new to me this year, red currant and yellow currant. As the name suggests, they produce tomatoes that are basically the size of currants. Next to that is a Bacardi, which is one of mine that I've grown for a couple of years now. Always been very pleased with those. Next to that is a Crimson Crush. Again, that is new to me this year. Then the one that I've just put in there is another Bacardi. I've got another new one to me, which is Ship Saint. That I believe is like a little bit like a cherry tomato, I believe, the Ship Saint. Next to that is Moneymaker, and then in here is another Crimson Crush, but it's in the peat-free wool compost. I'm going to see how that works. I'm going to put one of the cucumbers into that as well when I put the cucumbers out. But that's it. At the moment I can't really do a lot more over that side. I've got a few buckets that I could start there, but I can't really do a lot because I've got lots of other little plants and such like. I've got some leeks and some flowers, and you know how it is, and I've got them all over there, and at the moment I'd rather wait and clear all that side before I then start and put any more in. But yeah, that's the start of me tomatoes. Well, you're all in for a bit of a treat. Well, I think it's either a treat or it'll give you nightmares, one or the other. As you can see, I'm in the greenhouse, which is where I normally do all my potting on, seed sowing and what have you. But if I spin you round, that is where the table normally stands. But as you can see, I've taken it out, and I'm having a bit of a sort out. I've taken the shelf off there. That's been sorted and that's going to be cleaned down. I've got various, in fact I'll give you a whiz round. Dahlias all along here. That one there looks like that is coming into flower. These two here, these look like could be dead duck. There's my cuttings that I've done. There's some Atwood sprouts there. There's sunflowers along there. There's Titan and the teddy bear mix there. Joe's long chilli. There you are. A strug strawberry runner. It's doing quite nicely. Now then, is this the that's the zinnia mix, that mix that I put together and just put in. That's, I think, let's have a look. Cosmos. Yeah, that's Cosmos, bit of a Cosmos mix. These are those fuchsias that a few videos ago my wife had ordered them through some catalogue of hers, and I've potted them up, and they're all, I've labelled them all up, and they seem to be coming along quite nicely. Odd few sweet corn there. There's some nasturtiums that I did Tom Thumb. They're doing okay. But what I thought I'd show you, and up here, right, get ready for this. We've got some fill basket sprouts just starting to come, some more there, some lettuce there. That is something I've not done before. That's called red Grenoble. I believe it's quite a good cut and come again lettuce. In here I've got Drunken Woman and Fat Lazy Blonde over there. This is some more Calabrese. This is some more Evesham sprouts, and then at the back there, just, you can probably just see starting to come up, that's some poppies, variety is Shirley. But yeah, so this is, as I say, this is my greenhouse that I do all my potting up in, my seed sowing, and I've cleared that out, and then now get ready for this, because this is this is going to give you something to laugh at, and you're actually going to see what an untidy little bugger I am actually. Here we go. It's out into the garden. The watering cans and the bottles in that bucket there, they normally live in that greenhouse. We'll go over all these plant pots here, all this lot was under the bench in where I do all my potting on and so on. All these were under there. There's the bench. It's actually it's a picnic table, as you can see. It's a little caravan type picnic table with a handle on it, and the legs, you can see how you can adjust the height of the legs. And what I want to do is, between these two bars, I want to make a shelf. I've got an old door that I can cut down. I have got something else in mind that I'm thinking of using as well, if that doesn't work, but we'll see. But I want to make a shelf, and then I can get and put a lot of this, not all of it, because I want to sort some of this out, but I can put some of it back underneath, and going through all this lot, you have a look here what I've found under this bench. I found some plastic plant labels. Hey, and I'd forgotten all about these. I don't even know where I got these from. I'm assuming it was from there online, but there's 10 of them, and they're 36 litre plastic pots for potatoes. But I've got all sorts of stuff here, all sort that I've got to sort through. But I just thought I'd show you with what I've got here. There's me tray for I've all my compost in. As I say, I'm going to go through all them, get them cleared out the way. Let me just show you in the other greenhouse. See, there's the tomatoes, or some of them that have gone in. There's some more there to go in. There's the sweet corn, some peppers across the back. We've got Joe's Long Beauty Bell, so that's a sweet pepper, and that's Devil's Brew. But like I was saying, see, I just can't really get and put much more in here at all because of how it's all set up. This is believe it or not, this is a bit of an onion experiment that I'm doing to try to prove something to myself, but more on that as and when it works, if it works. Again, these are those petunias that my wife had through the post, but everything's looking pretty good, you know. But I thought I'd just show you all the shambles, he says, as he breaks his neck on the brush. But yeah, let's go back into the greenhouse. So yeah, so what I'm going to do, getting back to, I've cleared that out, swept it. Some of the spiders in here were massive, like bloody crabs. I'm going to get the shelf back in, get the bench back, and then I'll show you once I've got everything sorted. Show you what it's all like now when it's all back to normal. Right, got everything all sorted and ship shape, shall we say, in here. Sorted out the shelves, got stuff back on there, pots and seed trays, such like on that one. The seedlings that were on there have gone down here on the floor and there. The bench, as you can see, all sorted. The shelf underneath, all done. Old door, just cut it down, and I've got everything in here. I've got full-size seed trays and some more there, deep pots, different round pots, square pots. These are, I like these half-size trays, these are quite good. Different square pots in there, round pots of different sizes. So that's all now organised. Wrong time of year, I suppose, really. I should have done this early on. Sort of, I've probably done it at winter time, so I'm ready come now for various different seed trays and things. But still, but it's all done now, and it's all looking something like. I think the next job, looking over there, is getting them potting on these sunflowers. So that could be another job. I think that's another job for another day, but I thought I'd just show you now I've all finished how everything's all looking in here now. Right, my next job is sunflowers. These definitely want potting on. These are Vincent's mix. Never grown them before, so I want to get and pot them on. And these are, let's have a look, these are my sunflowers that I've done from seed. As you can see, these are just starting to, so we'll get and pot some of them on as well. What I'm doing is I'm using Verve compost, because I've got all the pots down here full of compost, but I want to mix into that some of the perlite. So what I'm going to do is I've filled the pots up first. I shall then tip the pot out into my tray, add the perlite, put it back in, put the sunflower in, and away we go. And talking of Verve compost, which is B&Q's own, about a week ago now, I saw an article where some of the B&Q stores were now opening to the public. Up until then it had all been a case of having to log on to the website, wait for your turn to get into the website, order what you wanted on a click and collect basis, which was fine. But there are some stores that are now open. So when I went round to get the Verve compost, I was looking around outside with regards where the compost is and plants and so on, and I saw a sign above some plants and it said free, and I thought, oh, hello, you know me, always want to find a bargain. So I picked these up. Sad, sorry looking tulips, but there's 12 in there. So once these, I thought, for free, that's brilliant, why not? So once these have completely died back, I shall take the bulbs out and put them into either in the garden or somewhere on the plot next autumn, ready for a bit of colour in the spring. So without further ado, I'll get and show you me doing some of these sunflowers, and with what I've explained to you, I think it's better if I show you. It's always easier to, plus the fact I've got a brew to finish as well, so cheers. Oh, lovely. Right, so let's get on and get these sunflowers done. Right, you can see first of my pots, and these are the Vincent mix sunflowers. So what I'm going to do is tip that out, and I'm going to add some perlite. Just put a bit more in. That'll do. It goes everywhere. I should really use a proper pot instead of using a plant pot, but still. So we'll get that mixed. Now this obviously should all go back in to this, back into that pot. So we'll get that into there. We will take some of these, well, we'll try and get all these out in one go. As you can see, definitely need potting on. Aha! Oh yes. Let's put that down there, out the way. What a root structure. I know there's a lot in there, but wow. So we'll take that out of there. These will have a bit of support into them as well. There we go. That's that sorted. That's one done. I'm not going to bore you with doing them all, but we'll try and get some more of these split up and get some more put into these pots, and when I've finished I'll bring you back and show you all what I've done. Right, so there we have it. That's the sunflowers all done. potted on. Going, the front row is my sunflowers, as in the ones I grew last year, seed from them. The second row is a variety called Titan. First year I've ever grown them, so we'll see how they go. And the back row is a variety called Vincent's Mix. And again, that's something new to me, so they're all potted on. Some of those will go in the garden. I think one of the Titan will go out the front, and we'll try and see if we can get a decent sized, as in large, sunflower. So yeah, that's it, they're all potted on now. Well, that's it for this one. Thank you all very much for watching. It is very, very much appreciated. I know that one or two people have signed up to this Nick's Sunflower Challenge, Nick's Allotment Sunflower Challenge. I don't really know what's involved with that, how you go about signing up to it and so on. I'm just really trying to grow a large sunflower, either out here on the allotment or out at the front of my house. The last 6-7 years I've tried to grow one in a big bucket out at the front of the house, and we've had mixed bag of results, as you would expect. And it's I've kept using the same seed, and that's why this year I've experimented with a few varieties of seed with regards trying to produce a large sunflower. So we'll see how we go this year. But if you comment, let me know what this sunflower challenge is that's on Nick's Allotment. Am I too late to sign up for it? Is it something, you know, did I have to have the seed off Nick or what? I don't know. It would be nice to know exactly what's what. Really would appreciate somebody letting me know. That would be great. So as I say, that is it for this one. So be good, look after yourselves, look after each other, be careful, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra a bit.